Imagine, you are walking along the stone streets of ancient Rome. The weather is hot, the forum is crowded, and there is a buzz of vendors and soldiers everywhere. The crowd parts. Emperor Nero appears in a purple and gold toga. His steps are heavy, his gaze haughty. Everything seems to belong to him. On Nero's arm is a young woman who looks enchanting in her silks and jewels. But this image is a mask because the crowd is whispering. She's not a woman, she's Sporus. Curiosity, fear, and gossip spread in waves. We zoom in. Sporus' face shows a mixture of innocence and bewilderment. Childlike features, but deep anxiety in his eyes. As the redness of the sunset engulfs the forum in shadows, the darkness behind the splendor also emerges. Power, obsession, and hidden pain. And now, the curtain rises. The forgotten story of history. Sporus, soon you will hear the darkest story ever told, set against the backdrop of the empire's brightest lights. The map of the Roman Empire unfolds before your eyes. The parchment texture, borders, and roads carry the empire's spirit uninterruptedly to the present day. A marble bust, Nero, pride, desires, and the shadow of future disasters are hidden within the cold stone. Close-up view, authoritarian, fragile, insatiable. The glimmer of power is fractured by lines of fear. Laughter and applause fill the ancient theater. While the people enjoy themselves on stage, intrigue grows behind the scenes at the palace. Magnificent palace courtyards, golden decorations, wide shadows, stone walls hide whispers and secrets. Lines appear on Tacitus parchment. The witnesses' statements, sometimes incomplete, sometimes disturbingly clear, remain intact. Nero is on the throne. The crowd is silent. The balance between light and darkness is broken. The strings of the story are in his hands. The day young Nero was crowned. Golden lights, a promising new beginning. Everyone is talking about the new era, a bold emperor on the theater stage. The people applaud. Art and power come together as an inseparable whole. Joy in the streets, tax breaks, and celebrations. It is impossible not to notice the brief sense of relief on the faces of the Romans. But when the palace doors close, the roar of loneliness begins. Power gnaws at the soul from within. Nero alone, a dimly lit room, heavy curtains, silent echoes. Doubt hangs like a thick fog. Close up, the shadow of paranoia flickers in the eyes. As power grows, trust diminishes. The grand palace is silent. The only sound echoing in the throne room is the emperor's quickening breath. Poppaea Sabina is on stage, grace and intelligence, commanding everyone with a single glance. Octavia's serenity and Poppaea's radiance side by side. Two worlds, two destinies. Nero's eyes darken. Admiration turns to fascination. Fascination quickly turns to obsession. Whispers in the palace corridors, plans behind closed doors. Intrigue flows as smoothly as silk dresses. Gifts in golden boxes. The sharp sparkle of jewels determines the direction of emotions. Close up, Nero's face contorted with jealousy. The desire to possess with love is intertwined. This gaze foreshadows the catastrophe of the future. The lights on the stage are slowly fading. A magnificent wedding. Flowers, music, a gold-embroidered hall. The grandeur overwhelms the emotions. Poppaea statues in every corner of the palace. A single face, watching you from every direction and never allowing you to be free. Nero's gaze is fixed. His desire for control grows at the same time as his admiration. The walls of the room gleam with gold. Wealth cannot completely conceal the emptiness within. Poppaea is alone, lost in thought, on the silk couch. There is an invisible distance in her eyes, and the depth that distance brings. The silence grows heavier. The palace seems to be holding its breath. Everyone feels deep down that the end is near. Red letters appear, the beginning of the tragedy. The light flickers for a moment. Poppaea is strong and calm. Her words are sharp, her attitude clear. She is changing the balance of power in the palace. A sharp debate with Nero. Pride, gasoline turning into fire. Anger is rising, voices are hardening. The emperor's patience is cracking like thin glass. Poppaea is pregnant. Her hands protect her belly like armor. Her face shows a mixture of fear and determination. The atmosphere in the palace is heavy. Even the walls sense the approaching storm. The servants avert their gaze. Shadows tinged with red. The footsteps of tragedy echo on the stone floor. A final breath of silence. Fate has begun its countdown. Tacitus lines unfold. History recounts difficult moments with calm composure. A heated argument in the palace. Words like knives, faces expressionless and stone-faced. Suddenly, anger erupts. Control is lost. Actions summon the shadow of regret. Poppaea falls to the ground, her hands on her stomach. Time stretches out in agony. The servants freeze. No one can move forward. Fear is an invisible rope that binds the tongue. Close up. Nero's face shows horror and regret. Whatever happened cannot be undone. History takes another blow. Silence rings in the ears. The atmosphere is heavy. The palace corridors are covered with a dark veil. Nero, collapsed at the head of the body. Tears not flowing from his eyes, but flowing inward. Preparations for mummification. Cold rituals attempt to restrain a burning pain. The emperor speaks with a silent body. Denial is the sharpest face of truth. The empty seat, the visible manifestation of absence. Even gold cannot fill this void. Deification in front of the crowd. Mourning turns into idolization. Reason strays from reality. The darkness lengthens. The steps are uncertain. The road now seems irreversible. Young Sporus. Innocence on his face, a silent question in his eyes. Nero notices this face. It is like the echo of a lost dream. The resemblance to Poppaea is uncanny. An illusion born after death. Whispers in the palace. Names are spoken softly, eyes avert. An obsessive gaze fixes an idea. The desire to recreate what has been lost had begun to take hold of him. Sporus' destiny begins to take shape through someone else's dream. An innocent face is being dragged into a heavy role. An order is given, doctors are called. The authority speaks in an unhesitating tone, fear in Sporus' eyes. Nowhere to run, time is running out. Ancient surgeons prepare themselves. The instruments are cold, the room dim, the air heavy. A temporary operating room in the palace. Behind the curtain, a fate is being written. The soldiers are harsh. The body is reduced to an object of commands. Sporus' gaze freezes. Childhood fades from those eyes for a moment, a deep silence at the end. Nothing will ever be the same again. The cold glint of metal instruments. A dark tremor in the room. Sporus lies on the stretcher. His lips tremble. His breathing quickens. The doctors set to work with primitive methods. Time turns to pain. The guards hold his arms and shoulders. His struggles echo off the walls. Minutes spent amid screams. Mercy, forgotten outside the door and never to enter this door. Silhouettes grow larger and smaller. The atmosphere of torture thickens with every breath. The light fades. Only a heavy silence remains in the room. Months later, new clothes. A face in the mirror that she didn't recognize, whose owner she didn't know. Tailors work with golden threads. Each stitch removes a piece of identity. Jewelers set stones. The only thing he knows without realizing how he feels is the weight, hanging not from his shoulders, but from his soul. Poppaea's name is mentioned. Voices erase Sporus and call for someone else. In the preparation room, silks, mirrors, silent questions. The echo of "Who am I?" is heard in the most painful way. The jewels around her neck. Their sparkle is not enough to cover the emptiness in her heart. She stares at the mirror for a long time. She disappears into eyes that are strangers to her. This question of identity will probably continue forever. The wedding hall is ablaze with light. The crowd holds its breath. Thousands of oil lamps flicker. Shadows dance on the walls. Sporus in white silk, a smile that does not settle on his face, one he cannot even accept. Oaths are recited, words as tight as iron shackles. Guests stare. Astonishment mingles with fear in the same cup. The music swells, but beneath the melody lies a dirge. This wedding will go down in history as a dark chapter. The throne rises. The crowd clears the way. The servants are meticulous. Every movement is measured like a ceremony. Private rooms, privileges, luxury turns into invisible chains. Gold embroidery in the bedroom. Splendor silences emotions. Close up, unhappy expressions, a smile on the lips, sadness in the eyes, mixed together in a state of uncertainty. The palace is magnificent, but there is a deep echo within it. Loneliness. The shadow grows slowly at the edge of the light. At the ceremony, Nero and Sporus stand side by side. The crowd watches with curiosity. Seats at the official table are assigned. Roles are distributed like stage directions. The name Poppaea echoes, a name that conjures up a ghost. Sporus bows his head with a fake smile. His role is flawless. His heart is broken. The crowd is undecided. Some eyes show admiration, others show horror. A whisper rises from within. Is this real? No answer. Loneliness becomes the loudest sound amid the noise. The days chase each other. Every day the same game, the same costume. The servants are patient. Makeup, hair, jewelry. They are building a new layer on top of the lost self. The expression on the face gradually fades. The inner voice hides behind thick curtains. The routine at official dinners, laughter and applause. Fragile as glass, the people's gaze is questioning. Whispers grow louder and bounce off the walls. Voices, whispers. Fear, condemned to remain, seems to have taken hold of everyone. A portrait left in the shadows, a face forced to live with 1,000 masks. As the curtain falls, the spirit trembles behind the curtains. A ship in the Aegean Sea. The wind fills its sails. Preparations for a Greek festival. Flowers, drums, curious glances. Nero is on stage. Art and power are once again intertwined. Sporus is seated like an empress. Her eyes are downcast, her heart so far away that no one can approach her. The aristocrats' faces show mixed expressions, admiration and unease, side by side. The festival grounds are buzzing. Beneath the revelry, a silence flows. At the end of the night, the mask remains in place. Senate decision. Nero is now the enemy. The atmosphere in the hall is freezing. Anger is growing in the city. Torches, slogans, the sound of running feet. Nero is fleeing, accompanied by a few loyal faces and a frightened Sporus. Hiding in a villa, a timid light seeps in through the windows. The moment of decision. The emperor chooses his own end. History holds its breath. Despair seeks shelter in Sporus' eyes. The protective shield is suddenly gone. The night is dark enough to swallow everything. Power changes hands. Sporus is handed over like an object on a table. Otho's palace. The rules are new, but the game remains the same. Vitellius' gaze is stern. The name Poppaea is called again. Clothes, jewelry, roles. The only thing that remains unchanged is the pain that burns deep inside. A life forced upon you dictates even the rhythm of your steps. Deep fatigue settles on your face. Even sleep cannot restore your identity. Hope is like a thin thread. It grows thinner every day. The arena is crowded. Voices rise, eyes sharpen. Sporus is brought before the crowd. Mocking whispers fill the air. Honor is shattered. Man is turned into a spectacle. A decision is made in a lonely corner. Freedom is sometimes chosen with a final sentence. A small bottle, a trembling hand, a peace mixed with fear in the eyes. Time slows down. The murmur of the crowd recedes like a wave coming from afar.